Hey guys, what is up? This is Matt Davis. Once again, welcome back to another movie review. Part of my horror movie marathon of the month because it's October and if you watch my previous two videos, you know exactly what I mean. This time is going to be on Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Before I get into it, yeah, I do not like the look of this poster. I don't know why, but I don't know. I kind of like the poster for the DVD better. If they do release this on 4K, I really hope it's not something like this. Make it all the clowns like together or something. This looks way too modern. I'm sorry. This doesn't look 80s because this movie came out in 1988. But anyways, if you're unfamiliar with this movie, it involves killer clowns from outer space. A couple discover a comet coming from the sky and it lands on Earth, and it turns out to be a circus. Inside are a bunch of cotton candy cocoons that are actually filled with people. There are killer clowns roaming the town and harvesting people, killing them in really ridiculous ways, and putting them in cotton candy cocoons so they can eat for later. And they're trying to stack up as much as they can before they leave the planet. And that's basically all you need to know. I remember watching this for the first time. I was like 12. I was starting to get into horror movies. I always was, when this was on Netflix, I was always looking through and I always saw the poster for this movie and I was all like, I wonder what that movie's about. I was always curious, and I've rewatched the movie multiple times when I was younger. I rewatched it again in preparation for this review. I reviewed it like a few years ago, but I'm remaking some of these reviews because I feel like they could have been a lot better. But yeah. This movie I still think is very entertaining. This movie has gained a cult following, and next year we're actually getting a video game of this movie, the same way Friday the 13th and Evil Dead have. And the fact that this movie has gained a massive cult following over the years, and if you go to Spirit Halloween, there was like a lot of costumes for Killer Klowns and a lot of Killer Klowns merchandise in the store. So yeah, it would make sense why it would get a video game adaptation, and just in time for its 35th anniversary next year. And I still have a lot of fun with this movie. And what I really love the most about this movie is that it's silly, and the Kyoto brothers, the creators of this movie, absolutely know it. It's a movie about murderous clowns and killing a lot of people that they see. Now, one thing that might disappoint you is the fact that this movie is PG-13. It's not like Child's Play or Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th where they shove buckets of blood in your face. But in my opinion, it doesn't really need that. The movie still manages to get away with quite a bit. Like, probably my favorite kill throughout the entire movie, spoilers by the way, has to be where there's a group of bikers and a small clown on a bike goes up to them, and one of the riders destroys the bike, and then the clown has boxing gloves, and the guy's like, "What are you gonna do, knock my block off?" and punches his head right off, completely decapitating him. That scene always gets me because the kills in this are so stupid, but they're so funny. Like, there's this one scene where the clowns are throwing acid pies at a cop, and another one with a puppet show. Like, the movie manages to be very silly in the best possible way, and they're clowns, so it would make sense why they would do all these stupid kills. And they have popcorn guns too, which don't really do a whole lot. And okay, so the popcorn is kind of like eggs for like these weed things with creepy looking heads that they use for like in a dumpster or a laundry basket. It's silly, and I think this movie is very well made too. Like, it's very colorful given how it's a movie about clowns, and, you know, clowns, and they should be known for having a lot of colors on them. And the way that the movie is set too, like the inside of the ship, I think it is very, very well done, and the Kyoto brothers did a really excellent job presenting the movie with a very circus-like feeling. And it shows they really do have talent behind them, and the way they made this film. And even the effects, the makeup effects for the clowns are also really well done. They're people in costumes, and their heads too, the way they look, they actually do look intimidating, even though the kills that they do aren't as terrifying as they would seem. But if a child was watching this, then I would definitely see them being terrified, because I feel like this movie is mostly made to scare little children, because if you're an adult, this movie probably won't scare you. And that would make sense. It's more of a comedy than it is a horror film. I mean, there are a lot of deaths in this movie, so it is in the horror genre, just it's a more silly type of horror film. And that's what I love the most about it. Now, of course, there are heroines in this movie, but they're really not that memorable. Their performances, I'm going to be honest, they're not very good. Probably my favorite performance has to be this cop that doesn't believe that they're killer clowns. He takes everything seriously and has such a foul mouth. And he's the only character that uses an F-bomb in this movie. I think he gives the strongest performance, even though he doesn't last long in the movie, just like most others. But the way he dies, it's just like... I'm giving away too much of the deaths, and I actually do recommend you guys check this movie out. But like I said before, the heroines, they're not really that worth rooting for. I mean, one of them is dating this woman, and there's a cop who used to be the boyfriend of that woman, but they helped them out anyway. But there are also these two guys with an ice cream truck. They got an ice cream truck just to try and pick up women. I don't know why they thought ice cream would be a woman magnet, but it's stupid. And I don't know, they were probably one of the most entertaining parts of the movie as well. But in the end, guys, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a very well-made movie. It never takes itself seriously. It's that type of movie that you can just pop in with your friends and just have a few beers and maybe eat some popcorn as well, because the movie does manage to have entertainment in it. And it's not a super long movie. It goes straight to the point. And what's really cool, in my opinion, is how this movie starts at night and it ends on that exact same night. It never cuts to day or anything like that. They never like form out a plan or take so long with this plan. That's something that I found very unique. Well, it's not really anything big or something like that. It's just the clowns do this throughout one night, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of like The Purge, but this was way before The Purge. But yeah, like I mentioned before, this is a very well-made movie that gets right to the point. It might not deliver a whole lot in terms of blood and gore. It might not have, super serious kills, and the kills, I mean, nobody gets stabbed or brutally murdered. It's mostly just, clowns just shooting people with popcorn guns. If you expect like more bloody kills, then I feel like you might be disappointed, but it's still a really fun time, and I really enjoy watching it, even if the characters aren't that good. But that's something that's kind of to be expected. You're mostly going to be rooting for the clowns, and the clowns are by far the best part, and they're supposed to be the best part because it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I mean, clowns is spelled wrong, and that's how it's supposed to be. I definitely see why this movie has a cult following, and it's one that I enjoy watching once in a while. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be seeing Amsterdam, and I will be watching the new Hellraiser film, even though Amsterdam is a Halloween movie. But I'm still going to be reviewing regular movies for, that are coming out. It's not going to be all horror movies, but yeah. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out. Oh yeah, and I just found out. Overwatch 2 just released. Yeah, that might be a problem for my schedule. But I'm still gonna get the videos out, don't worry.